Welcome back everybody to a Beyond All Reason video. Today we're going to be checking out the sniper and just all the different ways you can use them and just some tips on how to engage with them and just use them to their highest effectiveness. First, we're going to go over the stats of a single sniper. You can see they cost 680 metal here in the bottom left corner, which really isn't too expensive. There's definitely a lot more units that have a higher cost. But the thing that stands out
Nuclear bomber
for the
detected.
sniper is the fact that they have a 2000 energy cost. So it does take a massive amount of energy in order to produce a sniper. Their health is quite weak. It is 580 health, which is only twice as strong as a pawn, which, I mean, you guys know how weak pawns are. Now, the thing that stands out with a sniper is the fact that they have 250 damage per shot, which is incredibly powerful for blowing up anything. And then also their reload costs is like 10 seconds of time. So their reload is quite slow, but their hits are extremely powerful. And another thing is their range is massive. You can see as I zoom out, their range is a total of 900, which you can see how big that circle is there that they're able to shoot from. So they're a little bit better than your standard artillery, just based on the fact that it is a straight shot into the target versus a lobbed projectile. So you can't really dodge the sniper's bullet. It just goes straight and connects to the target. So that's what they are known for, is their immense amount of damage that they do. Just just one shot can take out almost a bull tank, if I remember correctly. It's very, very effective at stronger units. So, offensively, snipers are a little bit harder because they're more of a slow push. You can't like charge in and just take over the map with snipers. They, as their name implies, you're going to want to go a little bit slower with them. And if you are going to try an offensive engagement, you will definitely want to have a radar bot with you, because that increases your line of sight, which that's something I guess we didn't really talk about with the sniper, is they have a very limited range of vision. Their LOS is 450, which is a little bit more than a pawn, but not enough to reach their maximum potential. As you can see here, this white line is the max vision that they have on their unit, whereas the red line is their max firing distance. So without a radar bot, they are going to be basically halved in their capacity to attack. So you're always going to want to pair them with some type of vision, whether that is a hidden camera or a radar bot, a pawn, like pawns pushing the front line, some type of vision where they can see the enemy at their maximum range. Okay, so make sure you pair them with a radar bot as well. Also, it is definitely recommended that you pair them with a radar jammer. Now, what this will do is the jammer creates a basically it hides the enemy's vision of your unit. So the only way that you will be seen instead of all these radar blips, I'll give you an example here. These are all radar blips that are visible. They are not accurate positions, but they are estimated positions on the map. Whereas with the radar jammer, even though these units would exist, they would not be visible to anyone who's trying to see them from radar. Okay, so that's important to use, because essentially it makes anything in this square invisible, or in this circle, it makes everything in that circle invisible based on radar vision alone. Okay, now the one thing that a radar jammer will not do is defend against actual line of sight, and we can explain that here as well. So a radar bot has a radar range of 2,200, which is where you see this green dot, or this green line that is further out in the distance. That is how far the radar range actually is, which is very incredibly far. Versus the line of sight, which is only 900. Okay, it's still quite far, but it's nowhere near as far as their line of radar vision. Okay. So the radar blocks the radar vision, and there is nothing that can block the line of sight vision. So, except for terrain, of course. So, when you are going to attack with snipers and use them offensively, you're going to want to very carefully take out defenses one at a time. Okay, now that was bad. I shot all of my snipers at once and they have a 10-second reload. So it's going to take quite a long time for them to be able to shoot again. So if I had a large group of enemies pushing me, then all of my snipers engage one target, I can easily get overwhelmed and murdered. Okay, so just be very mindful of that. So you're going to generally want to keep your snipers and radar and jammer at the same distance, because as you saw earlier, the radar moves a little bit faster and the jammer moves a little bit faster than the sniper. Not terribly fast, but it's just something to keep in mind. You want to try to keep all of your units inside the radar jammer square, otherwise they will be vulnerable. Now I'm going to give you an example of what not to do here. We're going to have my radar retreat, and we're going to have a lone sniper out here. Okay, and he is going to try to go up against let me see, I'm trying to make this as realistic as possible here. He's going to go up just against one artillery piece, to which if the artillery piece is made aware that there's a sniper here, he will likely try to blow me up. So if he can see where that sniper shot's coming from, he will try to blow me up. Okay. Now I only have line of sight just now, and I'm basically going to get pounded by artillery pieces because I have the same line of sight as the artillery cannon itself. Okay, so that's an example of what not to do. You don't want to send a sniper out there alone just to fight one artillery piece or something, because it's likely that they'll even have vision further out, and they'll be able to pound you to the ground much easier. So instead, what you're going to want to do, well, we'll give you a couple more examples. One more example would be to have a sniper who is invisible to go and do aggression on the enemy. Now this is better because he cannot be seen based on vision. However, every time he shoots, you'll notice he uncloaks, so he becomes visible at that point. He also is visible based on radar, so as we talked about before, they will see him as a radar dot. So one lone sniper who is cloaked is still visible. He gives off a radar signature. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you are trying to attack with a cloaked sniper. He still can be seen, and you must use caution when pushing up with him. Okay, we're going to give an example of why that is important here. That laser detected my radar and my radar signature. If you saw that blast from that laser was a detection of the radar signature, even though he was cloaked. Now, we'll give an example of the proper use here. You don't even have to cloak your snipers if you are jammed and have a radar, because you have the furthest distance of vision possible, and you can just pick off targets, no problem. Now, one struggle you will run into is up against certain defenses. Snipers are not really the best, and that is because their range is not quite as far. So this tower out in the distance, the Pulsar, his range is 100. No, it's his range is, where is it? Why am I not seeing the range here? Anyway, his range is very far. Radar. Radar bot trying to sneak by. Anyway, his range is really quite far. As you can see, it's like in the thousands, and his radar distance is also equally as far. So he is able to have a radar signature. Now, one thing that is nice about the radar jammer is that he will not be able to see these guys as they walk into his range. But the moment, so keep an eye on this guy here, the moment that our radar walks too far away from that guy, he gets shot at. You see that? So you have to make sure, if you are going to try to take out one of these towers, that you bring your radar jammer, otherwise you will be demolished. Now I believe that your vision is or your firing distance is a little bit further than the line of sight on this guy. So we should be able to take some shots at him and kill him. See? That's the proper way to kill him, is by taking your radar jammer in there and putting work in that way. So they also are very effective against landed planes. That is not the case for planes that have not been landed. These the nemesis to these guys are actually planes, as you will see here. Snipers cannot shoot planes at all. They cannot target them or anything unless they are landed. So definitely, if there are aircraft, head for the hills and try to find anti-air to defend you. Otherwise you will be blown up. But the moment that a plane lands, they would be free game. Easily sniped by a sniper. Okay, we're gonna head over here with some of these guys, since these guys are ready. And we're gonna show you an engagement just between different types of units. Now, here we have a heavy hover tank. These guys are very, very weak tanks, really. They have a really low damage per second based on their cost, and are not really effective. The only benefit to these is the fact that you can travel through the water and still fire. So just keep in mind, probably not best to ever build those, but if you find someone up against them, snipers are easy, or someone who uses them, snipers are an easy way to take them out. They have 5,300 health, which is quite a lot, but it's still questionable whether it would be worth to use those tanks in normal gameplay. So snipers will easily get in range. Look at that, one shot is almost half of the damage needed to kill one, and these guys can just pop through these tier 3 units as if it was nobody's business, easily killing everything. And that's because of the radar, they can't shoot back. Radar jammer, they can't shoot back. And your radar makes it so that you have vision. Now, one way to actually kill snipers is going to be with the ambassador, which that is these missile launchers that have just fired. The ambassador is very good at hammering down snipers because they have a longer range than snipers themselves actually do. But they have to be very careful not to get into the range of the sniper or they will die. As you can see here, they are getting a little bit too close. And they are at an extreme disadvantage because they do not have any radar to show the targeting of where I am. And we can see a radar bot has snuck in and is trying to target one of my guys, and we moved effectively out of the way. But that will only last for so long. If for some reason I come into I get pushed by tanks and get pushed by these ambassador missile trucks, I will likely be destroyed. See, look at that, they took out my radar. Thankfully we have another one here. So we're gonna try to take these guys out with them having radar. And you're gonna see it's gonna be quite a more difficult task. The best thing you can do against the ambassador is to just keep moving and hope that they charge you like a mindless monkey. But it's still, you know, being pushed in this way, it's pretty hard to survive because there's just too many coming at you. Okay, we're gonna move on to something different where we're gonna look at I'm assuming that we have some other T3 units, which that's actually how snipers will shine, is with T3 units, because they have an insane amount of damage that they can do in a very short amount of time. So things like a Titan or a Thor, these are massive tier 3s. You can pretty easily take them out. There's a Thor right there. You can easily take these guys out with snipers. I won't say easily because it does take a massive amount of damage still. But snipers can put in work, and they move almost the same speed as a Thor. A Thor's speed is 54, whereas a sniper's speed is 33. So they will catch up, but not so fast that you can't put in a massive amount of damage before that happens. And obviously, I mean, look at how much the metal is used, or is for a Thor. A Thor costs 9,000 metal, whereas one sniper costs a couple hundred. Obviously, if you're being chased down by Thors, you might be kind of in trouble here, because they do massive amounts of damage up close. But you can probably still take them out. There we go. Perfect example there. So, overall, snipers are definitely a very good unit. Very efficient at killing large amounts of tanks or heavier guys. The one downfall to the sniper is definitely going to be the tick. The tick is one of the best ways to counter a sniper, because every shot takes 10 seconds. So if you can overwhelm them with just ticks, I'm assuming we have some ticks that will be flying at us soon. To give an example, all of my guys are ready for a massive amount of ticks to chase them down. But ticks can easily overwhelm snipers just in a couple minutes time, because they move so rapidly, and if all you have is a radar signature to shoot at, you will not be able to counter that at all. And you can actually lose your entire sniper army to nothing but ticks. Anyway, we'll try to push forward and do some more damage. We got Titans here. We'll see what an army of snipers do against Titans. Definitely can put in some work on them. Oh, but we lost our radar bot, which is probably a GG there for the snipers. You can see how vulnerable they are without their radar. It's almost pointless to even try to attack without a radar. Here we go, we got our radar signature back. So definitely it's best to use snipers as a support, not necessarily to hold your whole weapon or your whole army up, because they are incredibly weak. But they do a lot of damage. And it looks like our ticks are here, so we'll let them chase us and see how we do against an army of ticks. We have an army of snipers versus an army of ticks. And I mean, we'll put in some damage, but you'll see we'll start to get overwhelmed rapidly. And ticks are one of the weakest units in the game, but they can still put in a massive amount of damage to snipers over time. And that was not even close to a fair fight. And they just shred everything there. So hopefully this was a good intro into snipers. If you had a little bit of questions on how to use them, hopefully we went into it with enough detail so that it helped you out. And if you have any other questions, you can feel free to leave a comment below, and if you have been getting value out of some of these tutorial videos, definitely subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.